This is what Eubank is saying. This is Eubank's statement. And it's a very simple statement. Dare Spencer and the fighters right. Boycott the fight. Livingston Jr. versus BENN. You know what £3 beneath the middleweight limit is saying. This is Eubank's statement. And it's a very simple statement. Dare Spencer and the fighters right. Boycott the fight. Livingston Jr. versus BENN. You know what £3 beneath the middleweight limit at 33 years old can do. This is how brain injuries occur. Now, I'm saying this now because remember, when Chris Eubanks Jr. boxed Nick Blackwell, it was his father that told him to ease off and don't throw headshots anymore after the 7th round to the kid because he could see something. Remember, famously, in September of 1991, the tragic brain injuries that were sustained by Michael Watson at the hands of Chris Eubank Sr.
What's good, family? It's your man YB back once again. So we just heard there from my doggy, Don Spenny and Tunde Ajayi leaking a statement from Senior, aka English. Now, he's imploring all fans across the world to boycott this fight. And unlike most hypocritical wannabe asses these days, to some extent, I rate English, aka Senior, because he's voting with his feet. There's a lot of wafflers in the game. There's a lot of hype men who say one thing and do another. What I mean by that is, in particular to this situation, is that often, even myself, I said that, initially when Senior came out with these comments 2 weeks ago, I said, he just trying to drum clout up. He just trying to make pay-per-view sales boost. He's trying to boost the pay-per-view sales up. But now, the fact he's doubling down with it. But most importantly, the fact that he isn't around his son. And that's what we have to do in this day and age. Well, that's what real backbone is. Real backbone isn't saying, well, I don't think it's right, but I'm going to go along anyway. No, real backbone is to say, listen, I don't believe it's right, and I'm voting with my feet. And Peep Senior has not been in Junior's camp whatsoever, which is extremely unusual. But he's standing by what he says. He says he don't believe in this fight. He says the weight's dangerous. He says he doesn't want to lose another son. So who would he be to then say all this stuff and then be at the gym training him and be turning up to the corner? He has to. If he believes what he says, he can't go along with this. And now he's begging the fans to boycott it. Why? Well, that's his leverage. He's hoping maybe if the numbers tank, to be honest, unfortunately, we won't know about the numbers tanking until the fight's already happened. But I guess Senior's just kind of hoping that maybe imagine if, for example, IFL videos or Matchroom or DAZN videos with Eubank and BENN went to 0 or went to 100 views. Maybe they would reconsider. But really, unfortunately, Senior, this beast now is in motion and there's very few things that's going to stop it. Yeah, the fight's happening. Bottom line, the pay-per-views will be sold. Don't know how many. I ain't buying it, oops. Yeah, but the pay-per-views will be sold. Eddie Hearn must get his pound of flesh. But now I'm joking. End of the day, man, your son believes he has the tools to do the job. I'm not convinced. I think the fight's 50-50 in my book. Especially considering, that's for me the only thing here. I think, without I like Conor Benn. I like his style. Well, this really is his first step up fight, but so far from what we've seen, I like his style. Assuming he can carry on applying it to the higher levels, I'm going to like it even more. What I'm saying is, take out this weight weird clause thing. From what Eddie Hearn said, the weight clause is 157 at normal weigh-in, and then 10 hours before the fight, around 11 AM, Eubank will weigh in again, and he can't be more than £10 over. So it's around 157 weigh-in, And then 10 hours before the fight, he has to also be below 168, I believe. 167, 168. He has to be below. And then after that, he can do what he wants. But in reality, it's kind of a catch-22, because 10 hours before the fight, you don't want to be loading up. You need that. You need a full night, really. You need a full 24 hours, really, at least, to do any loading. So it's going to be tricky for Eubank. But bearing all that in mind, that is what makes this fight kind of intriguing. Because I'm not sure. End of the day, man, we've seen Bivol. Listen, Eubank ain't no Bivol, but still, the principles are the same. For everyone in the sport of boxing, apart from Anthony Johnston, take out Anthony Johnstone out of the conversation. For everyone else in the game, 2 weight divisions, it's almost impossible to go up 2 weight divisions and then be dominating. We just saw what 1 weight division did to Bivol and Canelo. Yeah? That's just not how it goes. Most people who move up, when you look at Terence Crawford, for example, he moved up, but he did things progressively. He didn't go from... Terence Crawford didn't jump up from 135 straight to 147 to fight a top buck. No, he took his time. That has to be done. Now, Conor Benn's going from... He hasn't even proven his salt at 147, and he's jumping up 2 weight divisions. That's got ending in tears written all over it. So I understand from Team Benn's point of view. They have to make it, and that's what Chris Eubank's been saying. Junior's been saying. That's what makes this fight interesting. I do agree. I don't think Eubank would... I don't even think... If Conor Benn was to move up 2 weight divisions, Eubank wouldn't stop him. But I think Eubank will have enough to... Pure size is enough to outbox, bottom line. We've seen Tyson Fury do it. That size, it's got outbox.com written all over it. And you're that much bigger and taller and lankier and whatever else, it almost passes you the ability to win on points. Unless you're fighting a Mike Tyson. And even then, Mike Tyson was super duper thick and super duper... He had the maxed out fast twitch genetics. But anyway, man, I've digressed here. Bottom line is, man, this fight is, for me at least, and for most higher level casuals and above, and for top level professional, not pro, what do they call them? What's the opposite to a casual fan? Boxing hardcore. For most high level casuals and for most high level hardcores. Oh yeah, for high level casuals and hardcores, what makes this fight intriguing is the weight division. Is the weight bullshit. Now, it's unfortunate, and I understand from a father's point of view, and that's really where I think Eubank, we know this anyway, as fighters get older, they mellow. Eubank Sr. has obviously mellowed a lot. Back in his day, he'd have been all over this the same way his son is. But as you get older, you mellow, your testosterone drops, you become less oomphy, you become less daring. Put all that into a pot, and then, combined with the fact that Eubank Senior himself has caused brain damage in people before, and he's witnessed, as he referenced, he's witnessed people cutting weight in it causing damage, or there being a link between cutting extra weight and brain damage occurring. Put all that into one pot, and then add on the fact that a year ago he lost his other son. You almost can't even blame the guy. But again, at this point, knowing what he knows, i.e. his son ain't going to change tune, it does kind of beg the kind of principle that shouldn't Eubank Sr. just be backing his son now? Do you know what I'm saying? It's done now, Dad. He's going forward. Shouldn't this stuff be kind of private? Okay, I almost feel like Senior should have said, you know what? My son's going to do what my son's going to do. I made him this way. He saw how I acted. How would you... Let's be real here, Senior. What would you have done in the prime of your life? Exactly. I believe you'd have done exactly the same thing. You'd have been all over it. So, yeah, of course, before the fight signed, you had 3 months. Don't forget, people, Eubank Senior, this wasn't a case of, wow, the fight got done in 1 week. No, this was one of the longest negotiations ever. 2-3 months. So Senior had 2-3 months to plead his case. He failed. At which point, I almost feel like Nigel Benn in that respect. Because let's not forget, people, Nigel Benn's in a tricky situation himself, in as much as his son's the midget. You know what I'm saying? Historically speaking, being the midget's no good. Yeah, unless your name's Usyk, unless you're lucky enough to fight a big useless bodybuilder like Anthony Joshua, being a midget's no good. But look at how Nigel Benn's kind of backing his son. Yeah, that's what I feel the best thing to do is, even if you've got reservations. Yeah, at the best, you plead them, or at the worst, you plead them before the fight's signed. The minute, and really in private, in my opinion. It's not a good look to be out there, because really, what, in my opinion, or what really can be taken, if I was Team Eubank, if I was Team Ben right now, I'd have a proper hard-on. Yeah, I'd be rock hard. My phallus would be full of highly oxygenated blood. Be red raw, it would be. Pumped full. Almost hurting. It would be that brimming with blood. Why? Why would I have a raging lob on? Because all you've heard for the last God knows how long is one of your arch enemies whining and complaining publicly about how he feels his son is going to get got by the opposition. That's the only way you can read this. Because, listen, the question is, would Eubank Sr. be saying all this if Eubank had to cut weight to go into the Spike O'Sullivan fight? Do you understand? Would Chris Eubank be saying all this, yeah, if Chris Eubank Jr. was fighting Spike O'Sullivan at 157? That's the question. Now, if he would say that, then my argument's a bit null and void. But I don't think he would. If Eubank Jr. was fighting Spike O'Sullivan or some other bum at 157, I don't believe you'd hear any problems. If Eubank was fighting another bum, there'd be no problems. Senior would be posted up on the press conference, giving it the whole barnacle. Yeah? He'd be giving it the whole barnacle looking ass. Yeah? Barnacle 1770s looking ass cat. Yeah? Barnacle. Like this. One of these ones there. 100%. Chris Eubank Sr. would be giving it the 1770s barnacle wannabe posh ass. Yeah, 100%. A barnacle wannabe establishment looking ass. That's what he'd be giving it. So my whole thing is, where there, Mr. Barnacle wannabe ass? Where's your barnacle gone? Yeah? Bring your 1770s barnacle politician executive looking ass to the press conference and post up. That's what would be happening. Call me a liar. Would it not? It would be there. Yeah, Senior would be posted all over it. Yeah, giving it the 1770s Rich Don, giving it the 1770s barnacle wearing ass Rich Don. That's what he'd be doing. Instead, he shook. And if I was Conor Benn, I'd be getting sprung off this right now. I'd be rock hard. Bottom line. Yeah, that's what you'd have to be. Because you're ops. Let's not forget, people. This isn't a case of... It's not like a random rivalry. A big op right now. And he's essentially shook. And Conor Benn and whoever else have said, listen, in the day, man, it's only £3. Now, that's not exactly true, is it? Because there's the whole weight clause. The old other part of the weight clause. But still, it is only £3. And I do think it's a bit contradictory to see what Eubank Jr. is doing, i.e. he's eating. You know, I mean, it's all a bit weird. For me, anyway. It's a bit weird. It's a bit contradictory at the least. You can't be telling me about how edgy it is and how dangerous it is. Meanwhile, your son is posted at some next swanky restaurant being fed big, thick, spicy, fried up steaks. So the message isn't on point equally, though, from Eubank Jr.'s point of view. Maybe he's got to do that. Because unfortunately, his dad isn't oozing confidence, is he? So, I mean, not being funny, if it was Eubank Senior's, or if Junior took Senior's narrative, he'd be completely depressed, wouldn't it, in that sense? So Junior almost has to fight back and say, I'm not scared and I'm not worried about the weight, because his dad is. Do you know what I'm saying? His dad is painting the most bleak picture. He's saying there's a good chance his son don't come out of the ring alive. Now, you don't say that about a useless opponent, do you? Regardless of weight. This shows you how shook Senior really is. He's shook. I'm sorry, he's shook. He believes Junior can get his cherry well and truly popped properly. Yeah? Senior's saying he believes Conor Benn might end up, or there's a large chance Conor Benn end up catching a body. He's saying his son might get grim reapered by Conor Benn, his arch enemy. That's not a good look, man. Even if you thought that, keep it to yourself, man. Especially for your son who's about to go in the ring. Do you know what I'm saying? What must he be thinking? Wow, my pops. And listen, I was the first person to come out and say, I don't blame Senior. Why? He knows his son. His son is full of waffle. Yeah? His son couldn't get the job done against Billy Joe's sausages, who don't even train. Do you understand? Got washed by Old Groves, yeah? George Olds, yeah? George, listen, at the end of the day, man, George Groves, he old. George Groves was old as you like, completely washed. Yeah? And even sloppy Carl Froch washed Groves. Eubank meant to be the next up-and-coming thing, got washed. And Senior was there, waffling. You know what I mean? Dwoofing, sorry. Giving it all that, he was, in the pre-fight press conference. Senior was there, posted alongside his son, waffling. And I think that was really what did it for him. I think that's why we're sitting where we are today. I think Senior thought, shit, man, my son ain't all that. My son's gassed me up before and got molly-whopped. Yeah? I think that's the problem here. I think Senior's got cold feet. He's thinking, damn, my son has gassed me before. My son's given me I'm eating steak before. Yeah? Let's not forget, people. Junior was giving it, oh, I'm eating steak. Oh, I'm eating cheat days. Oh, I'm eating burgers. He was doing all that before the Groves fight. And he got washed. Yeah? George Groves turned him over. And fried him up. And now you got Conor Benn. Conor Benn ain't coming to play. He's looking to set about you. What are you going to do when Conor Benn's setting about you? That's what Senior's essentially saying. And he believes it's not going to be good for him. Anyway, man, listen. It's peak right now. Super duper peak for Team Eubank. This doesn't look good visually in that sense. They've got a broken front. It's all a bit messy. Eubank Jr. has no trainer. We know some of Eubank's better performances have been under Roy Jones. When Eubank was training himself, he was messy and sloppy and there was no real game plan. Unfortunately, he training himself. Senior has been nowhere to be found. I guess as a father, what do you do in that situation? Do you say, okay, let me prepare my son to be the best? Or do you say, as Senior's doing, I don't want no part of it? Part of me thinks that Senior should be getting behind his son and saying, you know what, man, listen, if you're going to go, for example, yeah, let's say it is your son's final night on earth. Would you not want to be there with him? Yeah? I think Senior, I mean, I'm not going to sit here and lie. Do I think it's likely? No, I think there's less than a 1% chance that Senior actually gets bodied. But if Senior's the one who keeps going on about it, so if you think it's a reality, why would you not want to be there? Or are you just saying that, listen, I just don't want to touch it at all. If he does get got, if my son ends up getting got, that'll be on him. That's essentially the decision Senior's making right now. I'm not sure there is a right or a wrong answer. All I know is, from a selfish gambling point of view, I like the odds for Ben right now. Ben's a big underdog, and I like that. From what I'm seeing and hearing here. Yeah, Ben has a unified front. Team Ben are unified. Team Eubank, messy. Contradictory. Yeah? But either way, it's great narratives right now. So let's see how it plays out. Smash the like button, subscribe, and you will be back 100%.